the very first thing we're going to talk about today is going to be integers. We're going to learn how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide them, as well as doing order of operations. This is something you already know. Many of you struggle without using a calculator. Does that mean you're not going to be able to use one on the test? No. You can use a calculator on the test. I just am asking you to please try to do these calculations without using the calculator first. So an integer is any positive and negative whole number, including 0. So an example, that would be 5, -3, 0, 10. Those are all examples of integers. So it's any positive or negative whole number, including 0. Now, what happens when we multiply and divide integers? Z's is what we call integers. It's the symbol, so it's Z's is what the symbol for integers is. So whenever I'm multiplying and dividing integers, let's think about this. 5 times 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Perfect. You guys know that. -2 times -4 is going to be a double negative. In English and in math, creates a positive. So because it's negative, the outcome is going to be plus, and then you are simply going to multiply the two numbers together to give you 8. So when the signs are the same, you are going to simply multiply them, and then you will get a positive outcome. Now, whenever you divide, when you are dividing, it's the same exact concept. I'm going to take this off for you a second. Same exact concept. So let's say -18 divided by -9, that's going to give you a positive 2. If I go ahead and take 10 and divide it by 5, and that's going to give you a 2. So when the signs are the same, the outcome is always positive. Well, that's good to know. What happens if the signs are not the same? If the signs are not the same, for example, -3 times +5, then when the signs are different, you keep the negative and multiply the numbers. So -15. Or 24 divided by -8. The signs are different, so the outcome is negative, and you divide the numbers to give you 3. So if the signs are the same, the outcome is positive. If the signs are different, the outcome is negative. It is that simple, and that's where I need your brain to go. So same signs, positive. Different signs, negative. That's how you're going to multiply. Now what about adding? Adding integers, if the signs are the same, you're going to add the numbers and keep the sign. Well, why is that a true statement? Well, let's talk money. If I have $3, and I add $5 to it, that gives me a total of $8. If I owe you $4 and then owe my sister $6, how much total money do I owe? I keep the signs and add the numbers. So when the signs are the same, you are simply going to add them and keep the sign. Super important. So when the signs are the same, you're going to add them and keep the sign. Now what happens when the signs are not the same? I have $5, but I owe somebody $4. So how much money do I have in my pocket? Well, I want you to visibly count them on your hands and say, I have $5, and if I take away 4, I have 1 finger left. Which means what we did is we subtracted those and we kept the sign of the larger number. 5 is bigger than 4, so that's why the outcome is positive. Okay? Well, what happens if I owe $12, but I have 8? Well, the bigger number here is now going to be 12, which means I'm still in debt $4. Why? Because 12 take away 8 is 4. Which means when my signs are not the same, and they are different, then that means you are going to subtract the numbers and take the sign of the larger number. And I highlighted the larger number every time. Okay? Subtraction. Subtraction is super easy. If I have $3, and I subtract 4, all you're going to do is every time you see a minus sign, it turns into a plus negative. So that's going to be 3 plus -4. So if it's 3 plus -4, What that means is I have $3, I owe 4, so that's going to be -1. Okay? But what if I have -4 minus a -7? Well, what did I say a double negative always turns into? A positive. So these signs together make a plus sign, so that means this problem actually turns into -4 plus 7, which means I owe $4, I have 7, so I have a total of 3. Okay? So those are just adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing integers. The next thing we're going to do is order of operations. Okay? Order of operations, you may have heard already before, is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponents, M stands for multiplication, and D stands for division. You will always and forever work these two from left to right. Then, after that, you will be doing addition and subtraction, and those will be worked from left to right. So whichever one you see first. So we're going to go straight into your homework, which is worksheet 1, and we're going to do some problems together. So very first one we have is going to be 5 plus 3 divided by 2 plus 2. Now, PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, says that we need to do parentheses first. So my parentheses right here is what I'm going to be working on first. So what is 5 plus 3? That is 8, and I just recopy everything to the right. Then I have no parentheses, I have no exponents, so I go ahead and I check both of those off. Now I need to do multiplication and division from left to right. So that means I'm going to do 8 divided by 2, which is going to give me my 4, and I just drop down everything else. And what is 4 plus 2? It is 6, and that is done. So that's number 1. Number 3. Again, we're still going to use PEMDAS here. So I'm going to write that down again so you see it. Do I have any parentheses? No, I do not. Do I have any exponents? No, I do not. So now I need to do multiplication or division from left to right. So the very first thing I see is 3 times 6. So 3 times 6 is 18. And I just drop down every single thing. Every single thing that you see there, you drop down. You don't do anything else with it. So now I'm not done. I need to check off and make sure. Do I see any other multiplication or division? Well, I do. Multiplication and division is right here. So I'm going to recopy the 18, and 9 divided by 3 I'm going to calculate to be 3, and I drop down the -6. So that's done. So now I need to go ahead and I need to do my addition and subtraction from left to right. So I'm going to do the 18 plus 3, which is going to give me 18 plus 3 is 21, and I drop down the -6. 21 minus 6 is going to give me 15. And that problem is done. Okay? So, the next thing we need to do is to do the next problem. The next problem is going to be problem number 4. So, I have PEMDAS again. So, parentheses. Do I have any parentheses in problem 4? I do not, so I check that off. The next thing is exponents. My exponent is right here, and that's going to be 5 cubed. 5 cubed is 5 times 5, which is 25, and then 5 quarters in your hand make 125. So 5 cubed is 125, and I drop every single term down exactly the way I see it next. So do you see any other exponents there? You do not. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to say, okay, do I have a multiplication or division? So go from left to right, and as I go from left to right, I see this 8 times 5. So that means I'm going to recopy the 125, drop down the minus, and 8 times 5 is 40, and I drop down the 6. Okay? Next is you're going to say, okay, well, we did this right here, so now I need to go ahead and I need to do my addition and subtraction. So the very first thing that I see is 125 minus 40. So that's the first thing I have to do. So 125 minus 40 is 85. Drop down the 6. 85 plus 6 is going to be 91. And number 4 is done. That brings us to number 11. Number 11 says to do, we have brackets. Brackets, how are they different than parentheses? Brackets are big sets of parentheses, which means I have to do every single thing that's inside the bracket first. So I have to first calculate my order of operations using PEMDAS just in the brackets. So if I'm doing that and I'm just in the brackets, so first things first, I drop the bracket down and I say, do I have any parentheses inside that bracket? I do, so I drop everything else down and I take the 2 plus the 4. The 2 plus the 4 is where my eye has to be looking right now. So what is 2 plus 4? It is going to be 6, and drop every single thing down afterwards. So my parentheses are done inside there. Yes, I still have parentheses, but the parentheses around the 6 indicate multiplication around beside the 2. So the next thing I need to do is, do I have any exponents? And yes, I do. It's right there. So I need to go ahead and do 6 squared, which is 36, minus 6, 2, and the 3. So now my exponent's done. The next thing I need to do is going to be multiplication and division from left to right. Well, my multiplication and division means that I have to now go ahead and drop down the 36, but I have to do 6 times 2, which is 12. Then I'm going to go ahead and do my addition and subtraction from left to right. And I'm going to do 36 take away 12 is 24. Notice that bracket just keeps tagging along with me the entire time. And then I'm going to take 24 times 3, which is 72. And that is how you do order of operations in all of your homework for worksheet 1 for order of operations. If you have any questions, please let me know.